very good afternoon to all. I am Dr. Falguni Bhattacharya. On behalf of the Department of Human Development and IQAC Motijheel College, I welcome you all to this one-day international webinar. The topic of our webinar is What Uncertain Times Teach Us. And we are honored to have Dr. Amit Ranjan Biswas with us as an esteemed speaker of the webinar. And we hope that this webinar proves helpful to all of us. Before starting with the session, I would like to say a few words about our speaker. Dr. Amit Ranjan Biswas is a child and adolescent neuropsychiatrist. He is an ex-senior lecturer, Queen Mary University of London. He is a successful and highly respected frontline consultant in child and adolescent psychiatrist in England and lead specialist in multidisciplinary teams both in government and reputed private sector hospitals such as St. Andrews Healthcare and Oxford Health, NHS Foundation Trust and many more. He has appeared in various media shows in television and radio, both in UK and India. He has been invited and served several years as the member of the board of directors of an immensely prestigious international organization named Scientific and Medical Network. At the last but not the least, he is also a writer and award-winning filmmaker. So, without wasting any more time, I would like to welcome our Honorable Principal of the Motijheel College, Dr. Pradipta Gupta Roy, to initiate this webinar through his welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Okay. Thank you. Welcome, friends. Today we are happy to host an international webinar organized by the Department of Human Development. And the title of the webinar is What Uncertain Time Teaches. In physics, we see some uncertainties in some respect, but let us see what uncertain time will teach us. Okay. In this meeting, the speaker is Dr. Amit Ranjan, who is being introduced by our department, Human Development Department. So we welcome you, Dr. It is my wish to welcome you physically in near or distant future. I, on behalf of the college, welcome all the faculties of our and other colleges and the students of different colleges. Hope this webinar will be a success. Thank you all. Over to Pai.
Thank you so much, sir. So, before starting the main session, my request to all participants, if you have any questions regarding today's lecture, you can write the questions along with your name in the chat box. We will discuss those questions after lecture ends. Now, I would request our esteemed speaker, Dr. Amit Ranjan Biswas, sir, to take over the session. Sir?
Hello, thank you very much.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Very flattering information. But yes, I believe I'm being audible to all, and I can't see myself. I don't know why, but I hope that's okay, as long as people can hear me. But I'm really grateful and honored to be here today with everybody, and I'm really especially grateful to you, Falguni and Dr. Gupta Roy, to organizing this. I know a lot of effort goes into it, so thank you very much. Well, before I go to the topic itself about what uncertain time teaches us, by the way, I mean, can you all see me? Hello? I just wanted to check my video is not working, but I'm not sure if everyone can see me because visual
No, sir, you
connection
are
is
not
not.
visible.
I'm not visible, is it?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I am visible. Okay. Yeah, I don't have to see myself. As long as you can see me, that's okay. And I am very technophobic. So what happened? I couldn't figure out how to work out my computer in Google today. So I'm talking through my phone. So I'm hoping that yes, I could be kind of clear and visible to people. Okay. So what uncertain time teaches us, and I would like to. I mean, I'm sharing. We really don't want to be a lecture, but in hoping at some point we can kind of have an interactive space. Because we are, it's not just me being kind of knowing everything, it's we are having a shared space of understanding and creating a dialogue about this. But before we go there, perhaps we come from various places and perspectives today, and being in tune, what we always do before we start off our journey, being together with a little chant, and it comes from Vedas. Many of you know it, but I'll invite my bell of mindfulness, and I will chant to be together in this journey today. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrittormamritam gamaya avirabhirmayadhi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we walk and move from darkness to light. May we arrive at wisdom from ignorance, from untruth to truthfulness. Thank you. Now, we're still in the grapple of this COVID virus, and you see that people all over the world are still struggling, still suffering, still having really uncertainty, scarcity, fear. Even in London, where I live, we are fearing of a second wave, and some places in UK has been locked down, like in Oldham or in Leicester, has been kind of pockets of lockdown because the cases are surging. So we really do not know where it's going to end. And one thing is certain, that nothing is certain, and this we have to live with this virus for a while, and we are not even sure we will have a vaccine or not, how we're going to do. So it is really a troubling, difficult, and uncertain times. Having said that, these uncertain times are not very new. We have seen through time immemorial, times like this has come over and over again. I mean, even dinosaurs has kind of been wiped out. Otherwise, humans would not be here in this earth. But if you think the human history, from recent times of early 19th century, 18th, 19th century influenza to plague, plague has wiped out possibly half of the Europe's population at some point of time. Let us start with a story about plague. In 1348, if you go to the early Florentine Renaissance time, the city of Florence has really been flourishing. You can kind of figure out here Leonardo da Vinci walking, Michelangelo kind of working together, but it has been devastated by really serious pandemic of plague. Mothers and deserting their children, friends going away from friends. It's just a very difficult time. One young writer, Boccaccio, has felt that I had to isolate myself from this city and go somewhere in a little village of Tuscany in a little villa, because people understood we don't know what is plague, how is causing it, but at the same time in cities people are dying more. He went out with 10 of his friends to this little deserted villa and spent the times together. And they survived, not because of this so-called social isolation. Well, we are not really doing a social isolation. We're doing physical isolation. Social isolation, I think, when we don't talk to each other, we isolate each other. But I feel we are more globally connected now. I mean, these webinars, these Zoom meetings, these Skype meetings would not ever happen unless the COVID has happened, because we are getting more connected globally in a different, strange, but different ways. Now, Boccaccio came together with these 10 friends, have a light-hearted conversation, shared the songs, shared the silences, shared their stories together. Those human stories of light-heartedness made them survive through this epidemic and pandemic. And here we are, creating our own stories. And we understood, even in these times, even in the time of pandemic, it's not just a pandemic, it's a kindness pandemic also going on. People are coming together as communities to serve. They're looking after animals, looking after migrant workers, helping each other to just not to really kind of feed or survive, but to thrive. Just in the morning today, I got a message from one of the friend. He and his wife has created a big group, and thousands of people are joining up to share their fears and stories. And that human sharing and bonding is making them happier, more positive, more resilient. It's not just we are surviving through this, we are becoming stronger. We are bouncing back. I understand people are still suffering. I know that we are vulnerable. I am vulnerable. Being an Asian, being a doctor, going to hospital every day, crossing through London tubes and buses and trains, I am fearful of the times of death and dying. 20% Asian doctors are more vulnerable than common population. That's recent research. But still, in some way or other, this coming together as community, as kinship and kindness, teaching us something. COVID has in some ways allowed us to stop, pause and think, rethink, recalibrate our lives. That what we have lost. We have lost the connections with nature. The sacred connections with nature has been lost for such a long time. We abuse nature. We create these plastic generations of people and throwing things in the sea and destroying our nature. We use nature in consumerist kind of way. And in some way, nature's coming back. We're treating animal. You see in Wuhan, how possibly it is started by treating animals cruelly. And the virus, the zoonotic virus is coming. It is not unprecedented. We actually possibly thought it might happen at some point of time. So we are recreating an atmosphere of thinking where we can connect with nature more deeply in a more sacred way. And it's not just coexist. It's co-create our society in such a way we can live more flourishingly. Kindness comes from a word called, an English word called sinde, and then kinde, Middle English word, and then kind, means skin, means family. And it is in that family bonding. In our traditions, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, whole world is a family. And that is our learning. We are connected in an epidemic. Everybody in somebody in Spain or in Guatemala or in India or in London is suffering and dying in the same way and being scared and having this kind of same problems as a global human society. And that is binding us together. If you look in the happiness researchers, you will see what one important thing that makes us happy. The research says it is the deep connected human relationships. It's the social relationships that makes us happy, nothing else. Not money, not prosperity, success, and anything else. It is the coherent human society. And that's why if you see what is the happiest countries in the world, not there's always the USA is 7th, UK is 10th, Costa Rica, or Denmark. People were much more talk to each other, connect to each other in the deeper human level. And in India, yes, we talk. We might not have a lot of wealth and things, but we connect more deeply. We are happier compared to many global other developed countries. And this is again, this COVID is teaching us to connect, not in just Facebook, we having 5,000 friends, not having 5 friends face to face. So this is one important aspect of our learning and what is to be human. Another thing I understood, and especially through my fear and talking to people who had contracted COVID or had died, some of my friends died, some of my families died, and I understood that fear is a normal reaction to this. However, what fear does either gets us to the back in our past, kind of something happened, or in future, something is going to happen. But if we could hold the fear in the present moment with greater peace and equanimity, we can transform our fear. And that is the mastery, that what we can learn, how to transform our fear, how to hold this. This is hard. And it's a lifelong practice. It's not just practice at this time we're in trouble. How to transform our emotions, how to transform our difficulties, disappointments, trials and tribulations, how to learn not to embrace just the good things in life, but also allowing the suffering, the difficulties, because life is a whole. And I see the wholeness of life, the death, the life, the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is the whole picture. Pain is inevitable. We will have pain. People will die. We will break up. We will lose money. But partly what Buddhists say, but it is in all culture, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Suffering is optional. And how you do that is understanding pain, leaning onto pain, embracing pain as a whole human experience. John Kabat-Zinn, one of the greatest mindfulness teachers, researcher, molecular biologist, wrote a beautiful book called Full Catastrophe Living. So bringing the whole experience into our picture and having that human experience, I'm not the only one, helps. Understanding we will have pain. At the same time, we will have joy. If we hold the pain and suffering and fear with a greater equanimity right here, right now, we have the opportunity in the next moment to transform our fears. In Chinese, the word crisis is the same word for opportunity. What is the opportunity? Opportunity is learning from these mistakes and difficulties and fearful spaces and transforming them as a healthy, fertile soil. I understand there may be many students are there who are actually beautiful seeds, but seeds doesn't mean anything unless we create a healthy, fertile soil around us to grow as trees. And these difficult times, also uncertain time, teaches us how to transform these as manners, as process of growth. To be comfortable with this uncertainty is not easy. But if we could stay safe in that uncertainty, stay safe with scientific evidence-based ways, safe in the ways of distancing, washing hands, and all of that. But at the same time, emotionally safe by holding more mindfully rather than being frantic and back and forth, backwards in past fear or in future worries. If we have been fully present right here and practice mindfulness, and I'll come to that in a minute. Mindfulness is a practice that we can develop can cultivate and sustain this practice to be more here, right here in the present moment, we can overcome our fears. Because right here is the main experience of life. You are living at this moment, not in the past, not in the future. But that's what our brain does. Our higher functioning frontal lobe really starts to, when we are in front of a struggle, a trouble, any difficulties in our life, it tries to solve problems, analyze, problem solve. And all of these frantic thoughts makes us ruminate, makes us think and overthink over and over again. Oh my God, what's going to happen? This person is going to die. Oh my God, should I get infected? If I drink water, what is going to happen? Oh my God, that past in experience tells me I shouldn't go out. All of this frantic thinking makes us restless. And when the water is very muddy, if we try to frantically search in the muddy waters to a solution, the water gets more muddy. What we need to do, rather than just frantically searching, you need to be still. You need to be calm. More still you are, the muddy water settles down, and you can see things more clearly, make more wise choices. So the times teaches us a lot of things is not in our control. We can't really solve a lot of things. But if we are still, we can make right choices. And the practice of stillness, I will come in a second. It is a lifelong practice, and it is possible to various practices: mindfulness, gratefulness, meditation, yoga. But we can bring, it's not that one tool will work for everyone. We can bring various things, such as philosophical tools, psychological tools, spiritual tools, so that we are ready to go in the battle of life by putting our armor, because life is somehow a battle. Understanding it, holding it, and transforming the battle to our advantage is the way forward. Say if I give a talk about the philosophical way of looking into things, I will bring a very a philosophical discipline from Greco-Roman times, 500 BC. So that about 2,500 years ago, Stoic principles, Stoicism. You might have heard about the Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, emperor, who wrote Meditations, a book. This should be in your bedside book, or Musonius Rufus, or Epictetus. The first lines of Epictetus' notebook was, "Some things are up to us and other things are not." What does it mean? What is up to us? What can we control and what can we not control? If you live that Stoic philosophies in modern times, just think, most things in our life is not in our control. We can't control weather, we can't control family, we can control our boyfriend, our boss, our work. It's really zone 2, things that not in our control. And zone 1 is things that what we have in our control. And what it is in our control? Our thoughts and attitudes and behavior towards zone 2 is in our control. How we are thinking, how we are relating to zone 2. The zone 1 is there with you, within your power, in control. What we try to do, try to control the zone 2 like a virus, like this places, exams. These are not in our control. But how can we change the relationship between what is not in our control to our thoughts? We can survive or flourish. Pain, as I said, is inevitable. There are research about chronic pain that doesn't actually go through any medication or anything else. But research has shown if we lean into our pain, if we embrace our pain, psychologically a shift happens, physiologically various hormones gets produced. If our change our relations to our circumstances, to pain, pain disappears or get less. Giving an example by one of the greatest psychiatrists, Viktor Frankl, who went to Auschwitz prison in the time of Second World War. He has been taken, his family gone up in the chimneys. He's been made to work very, very hard, beaten up, bleeding, walking miles in the morning. But he survived using these philosophies to his advantage. Having putting his pocket in his coat and bringing up a little crumbs of bread and smelling, I am going to survive, and one day I'm going to get out of this place and I am going to have breakfast with my family. Hope. Creating a relationship where I can survive in this dehumanizing place, a devastatingly terrifying place, in a better way. And he wrote, everything can be taken from a human being except the last of human freedom, the one's attitude towards circumstances. The same in the COVID times. You cannot stop the virus. You cannot make the vaccine like that. There is no really medicine that works magic. So what we can do, how to survive, holding the space of fearlessness. If you look into Bible, the 4 canonical Bibles, the one common theme that comes up over and over again, 2 words, like a mantra, fear not, fear not. Looking in our traditions, Krishna says so many times, ma bhai, fear not, ma bhai. So holding, transforming this fear and scarcity, staying present. And how to stay present? We have to be stopping from time to time. Stop. And this is, I say over and over again, how to stop? Simply stop. S for stop. T for take a breath or 3 breaths. And breath is always available. Notice your breath. Just a second. Observe what's happening outside and in. Observe, oh, somebody's called me. Oh my God, it's my boss. Outside, inside, I'm a bit frightened. Oh my God, my teacher called me. What she wants or he wants. And P, proceed with a smile. Say you are opening a door. Stop. Take a breath. Observe. Proceed. Drinking a water. Stop. Look. Go. This little stopping throughout the day brings you in the present moment. Why it is important? Say you are having a coffee and we don't have a coffee. We don't enjoy even the coffee. We watch television. We talk to people. We don't experience the coffee in its fullness, its richness of color, the smell, the hotness, and the warmth, and the taste of the coffee. When you see that, do that mindfully sip by sip. You have best coffee every time in your life. Best sip. If you go to shower and be just a little mindful of the temperature of the water rather than thinking, you'll have the best shower every time. You shave mindfully. You are meditating. Mindful meditation is a practice where you pay attention to moment by moment experience without judgment. Because our mind takes you off either forward or backwards and really being frantic. But when we practice mindfulness, we are so more fully present. A sense of awareness and stillness arises. It is a spiritual practice, but it's a very secular practice, more systematized in Buddhism. But if you see in all cultures, in our tradition, in Yoga Sutra, in the first sutra says, Tatha Jaganu Sasanam. The teaching of the yoga is in the now, right here, right this moment. Mindful yoga practices, not just physical exercise. If you see in Bible, Matthew's gospel says, tomorrow will take care of yourself. Don't bother about tomorrow. Eat the bread of today. So being present, even with difficulties, having this experience and fully involving yourself actually lessens your problem. And that's a practice, the purposeful pausing, stopping, some formal and informal practices. And 5 minutes of that practice changes your brain. It becomes more positive, more calm, wise. And you do not react to situations, but respond in a better way. Because somebody says something happens, we just quickly react to situations. When practice mindfulness, our brain changes in subtle way that we are so calm, We are less reactive. We are more kind. We are compassionate. We are making a right choices in a calm way. And this is what we learned in this time when things are uncertain. Now, another thing I'd like to kind of quickly point out, I know that we don't have a lot of time and we can talk about our learning all the day. I have seen that so much of creativity is all around, that people are locked, but they're unlocking their creative potential. Some people are cooking, somebody is drawing, somebody hasn't sung for a long time, bringing out their Rabindra Sangit again. Some people hasn't even had chance to kind of play Ludos and all this creativity been unleashed. And what is creativity? Creativity is not an aptitude of a painting or singing or something. It's an attitude. It's an attitude of openness, curiosity, spontaneity. So look at a little child when the child is really kind of saying something a little simple, a little kind of bubble, or a little kind of tinsel somewhere sparkling, wide open eyes, excited, opening the heart, curious, and they're happy. Bringing that creative sparks in your life, the flow, where you're completely with the object of what you're watching, what you're smelling. And when you are that curious, you're mindful, fully present with that curious, open-hearted way. And that makes you really flow and connected with yourself and the universe. Bringing that creative attitudes towards life makes us survive. That light-hearted approach, an open-heartedness to living, and yes to creativity, and yes to living, yes to connectedness. This is where uncertain time teaches us. It's not that we cannot go out, we cannot do things. What are the potential that we have? How can we open our eyes more, be more effortless? What makes us tick? What makes us thrive? And in the flow where time stops and we feel really excited and alive, bring it more in your life. Last couple of things I like to touch here about our learning is one of the greatest things that we all know in all cultures and traditional practices or spiritual practices teaches us is gratitude. Now just think about this. I'm grateful just today here to be alive in these corona times when so many people are dying, suffering, uncertain, and not knowing what I'm going to eat next day. I don't have a job. What's going to happen to my exam? All of that. But simply, there's an attitude of gratitude. If you bring it up in your life every possible day, thinking that life is a gift. Think about this. You haven't done anything to have this day. This day is given to you. It is given. It's a gift. You wake up in the morning, you open your eyes, you have eyes to see. So many people don't. You take a breath, you are alive. The fresh breath of mindful 3 breaths you take in the morning, you are alive. So many people, millions have died today. Not just of corona. If you see throughout the world, so many people dies every day, and I am alive right here, right now. I have food in my refrigerator. I have roof. So that is the only way to reciprocate in this life's gift, to say thank you. And gratitude is not just about a thank you note when something good happens. Gratitude or a grateful living. A grateful living is an attitude of gratitude bringing in every aspects of your life is a lasting value. And this is possibly the greatest lesson Corona teaches us. That we have food. We have so many things. We have family. We have so many things to be grateful at. A simple gratitude practices changes our brain, and that's a long research that's in the last 20 years been there. Especially comes started off a Benedictine monk who is one of my teachers, a very brother David Stendhal Rust. Look into the website of www gratefulness.org. It's not that when we are happy, we have to be grateful. If we are grateful, research shows we are happy. So bringing that gratitude attitude to everything, suffusing our life in a lasting way of a radical gratefulness. Because when you grateful, you cannot be grateful in the past or in future. If you're grateful now, right here, right now, and you are mindful. So you open your heart, you see that something good is happening there. A simple things, a sunshine, a little flower, a little smile, somebody did a kind thing. Open your heart, good is happening, and reciprocate to this gift saying thank you. More you say thank you to life, covertly or overtly, it is receiving back the gifts and making you happy, making you positive. Physiological changes happen. You sleep better, your immunity gets better. There are many kind of uh, benefits of gratitude practices. Just write down in your gratitude diary at night 3 things I'm grateful for today. And you will see in 21 days' time, your life has changed into different ways. People ask me, what? I want to be positive. You can't be positive and positive. You need to cultivate positivity. You cannot just throw yourself into, I don't want negativity. You really need to embrace this negativity as part of life, but focus on what's going well in your life. Practice mindfulness, gratefulness, creativity, and many other practices. And being still. When you are still, positivity arises. And that is our teaching, to be more still. And last but not the least, people say, I want to be hopeful. I have hope. What is hope? Again, hope has 2 dimensions. When you're hoping something for the future, a better future. And that's in time. But sometimes that's a fantasy even. But hope has another dimension. Hope has a dimension to be here. I'm hoping here with open heartedness. Hope is an openness to surprise, to be surprised in every moment. It's like gratefulness. You cannot be grateful for a bad thing to be happening in your life. Somebody's raped or somebody's had died. You can't be grateful. But you're grateful for the opportunity for the next moment actually given to you in your life being alive. Opportunity for openness to be surprised in here, and that's hope. Hope is an assertion to life and yes to existential, yes to life, because hope is courage. Courage comes from the word core. French core means heart. When you're open hearted in that space, a really yes to life, a courageous trust to life, that is faith. Faith is not a religious thing. This hope, this openness, a courageous yes to life, and that's what uncertain time teaches us. Yes to life. Om Purnamada Purnamidan Purnat Purnamaduchyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevadashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you. Stay in wholeness. God bless.
Thank you, sir, for your informative lecture. Am I audible?
Yes, I hope it is not informative. I hope it is transformative. There is a
Okay.
difference.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now we will start our next session, question answer session.
Sure.
Uh, our participant want to know some question answer. Actually, first question is from Moirakhi Gangopadhyay, Assistant Professor, Department of Human Development, Damdam Motijheel College, that as mindfulness is a key to healthy psychological well-being, how one can practice this in day-to-day life?
Yes. Thank you. I can talk about this is a 7 day talk. Or yes, I will give a very,
Yes.
very short because mindfulness is a boom in the world. But don't take mindful as a tool or a religious practice or relaxation techniques. It is not a technique at all. It's a systematized practice come from spiritual traditions where you are more fully present, and it is very certainly a lot of neuroscientific research has shown mindfulness increases well-being, increases positivity, prevents depression and recurrence of depression and anxiety. And simple practices which you can't go in a little webinar like this because it's a process. Just please remember, this is not a content. A lot of people just learn a little, do a little, and start teaching. You have to, I believe in Gandhi's words, the transformation or the change that you want to see in the world, bring that with yourself. Simple practices of mindfulness like breathing meditation, such as simple, what is meditation? I'll give a very short examples of meditation is three things. Number one, it is the intention to meditate. Like I want to meditate. So there are formal practices and informal practices. And it doesn't have to be mindfulness, it can be anything. Meditation can be loving kindness meditation, transcendental meditation, japa meditation, chanting meditation, many other stuff. Understanding intention to meditate. Second thing is paying attention, expanding attention, and returning to the object of meditation. Say you are meditating for you with your breath or a lamp. Your mind will wander because it's a monkey mind. Frontal lobe will go on crazy. But trying to pay attention and bringing back that attention is flexing your spiritual muscles, bringing it back, bringing it back. And the third one is very important, that a friendly, nurturing attitude towards any meditation means that people say, okay, I fall asleep, I get frustrated, I can't focus my mind. That's what mind does. Every time you intend to meditate, you are successful. Just practice, cultivate. So, mindfulness is simply if you pay attention to your breath for a few minutes as it's going in and out of your nose. It's not a technique, it's develop inner awareness. But start with a technique in some way that you pay attention in your breath, either on the chest or in the belly for 5 minutes. Your mind goes away, bring it back to the sensation of breathing. Sensation of breathing means your chest expanding, collapsing. Just bring it back. If we have time, we could have done a short meditation, but simple, or pay attention to a lamp. The formal meditations are like this, 5 minutes changes your brain. Informal one, you can practice meditation anytime. When you're talking to somebody, if you're deeply listening rather than talking, your mind goes out with an agenda. Bring it back to the conversation. Bring it back to the person's body language. That conversation is meditation. And every time you do that, deeply listen, you heal that person, you transform that person. The person in front of you is the most important person in your life. The time that you spend is the most important time in your life. When your mind goes out, you stop. Like I said about the phone, your phone rings, you pay attention to the ring, like this mindfulness bell, you are meditating. You take a shower, you are meditating. You walk 10 steps mindfully, feel like your feet touching the ground, take a breath and in out and synchronize with 10 steps, you are meditating. You do not need to go to Himalayas to be meditating or a special person. One of the things I've been said and changed my life, a mystic is not a special kind of person. Every person is a special kind of mystic. So there is a mystic within you. You do not have to be a sadhu. But meditation changes your life, changes your brain, bring you more wise, more positive, more alert, more awake. And the subtle sense of who I am develops. I'm not going to that zone of spiritual understanding of true self, but meditation brings that psychological shift first, and then you can develop a deeper sense of awareness within yourself. I hope this kind of clarifies the first question.
Thank you, sir. Next, Priyanka Mukhopadhyay, Assistant Professor of Damdam Motijheel College. She actually want to know some meditation technique for both adult and children.
Okay, again, meditation is not a technique, it's a process. More we say like a yoga is a technique. Absolutely not. It's a systematized process of self understanding and awareness. So please, we have to, because language creates culture, we have to be careful. Mindful meditation is very simple. It can be do for 3-year-old children to adults, to anyone. However, for children, we possibly have to really a little twinkle a little bit because they're children. So perhaps we can do, say the children, what I do sometimes, just ask them to really, can you see my hand? Are you able to, I'm not sure how much you can see me, or can you see my camel palm?
No, sir, you are not visible.
No, sir.
Oh, I'm not visible at all. I'm so sorry. So I have given the whole talk without being visible. That's ridiculous. I don't know. I'm really sorry at this technophobic stuff. Anyway, what you do is you straighten your palm and have a pen or another finger from one side of the finger sliding slowly and asking the child to be mindful of how the finger goes to one place to another. Or just ask the child to stare at a little flower and be with it. There are many, many techniques. Just ask somebody to write a gratitude diary for a month. 3 things that makes me grateful today. That's even mindful practice. Somebody doing a yoga, but doing yoga doesn't mean a physical exercise. Being centered around your breath and your body. Your breath follows your body. Bringing that awareness into participating, which is already there within yourself. That's really important. So, but again, what I would suggest, go to perhaps buy a book, and this you might want to write down. There are so many books, but I would probably starter book would be, and there is a CD at the back by Danny Penman and Professor Williams, Richard Williams, Professor Richard Williams and Danny Penman's book on mindfulness. Just listen to the CD and try these practices. But there are more important, really structured practices or sessions called MBSR. I'm not sure it is kind of available in Kolkata. I do many workshops of mindfulness, but MBSR is mindfulness based stress reduction, 8-week course in a preliminary step to understanding mindfulness. But go to the YouTube and look into John Kabat-Zinn, Jon John Kabat, Kabatzinn, or any mindfulness teachers such as Tara Brach or Sharon Solzberg or Thich Nhat Hanh, any practices that will help you. And remember, everybody is different. Whatever works for you might not work for somebody else. So basically, if you have a japa meditation, having a little beats and stay there and pause, that is meditation. If you chant a mantra, like you don't have to be religious, chant A, B, C, D, even with mindful presence, that changes your brain. or shanti, 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 or whatever is in a positive word that changes really the way you look. Just important thing to be present in right here, right now. Drink a cup of water, a tea, and stay there. When you are eating, be mindful eating. Look into your plate, see the color, smell, touch, then slowly start eating. It is not being really slowing down because people are fast. It is about slow enough so that you are fully present. More you do that, you are meditating, bringing changes in your life. Go into mindfulness.org, go into Oxford mindfulness websites. There are a lot of material, practice, but don't start teaching unless you change yourself. There are lots of techniques available. Do not call them techniques. There are processes, and you will see. I have seen the changes in myself. I was frantic, restless, and I'm much more calmer, wiser. I speak slowly but clearly, and it will bring and changes in your life.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next question from Shuranjana Banerjee. She want to know, a fantastic mind always encourages some negative thoughts, even if we do not want to. It occur automatically, not in our control. How to get rid of or at least reduce negative?
Okay, fantastic question. Thank you, Shuranjana. If you look in the earlier part, what I said, that life is not about good, 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 positive, positive, positive. It's also about a negative and positive. Nobody's life, in Buddha's life, wasn't even perfect. He was tortured by Mara. Jesus was gone into wilderness. Muhammad was screaming in the cave. Anybody you see, the highly elevated people, anybody normal to super kind of conscious people, everybody's life has been tormented by negative, difficult thoughts, and is a part of life. And remember one thing, do not try to get rid of anything. It doesn't work because you're paying more attention to getting rid of this, and it's creating and strengthening in your lobe, in your frontal lobe. You notice and then you let go. You are not your thoughts. Mindfulness practices brings you here so that you can see you separately from your thoughts. You are not your emotions. Giving an example, you are an unlimited sky. Thoughts and emotions are clouds. Do not try to get rid of them, control them. Notice them. This is a beautiful cloud. Oh, this is a dark cloud. Let them go. Do not hang on. The more you try to get rid and control, you're hanging on to the cloud and you become one. Oh, I'm fat. Oh, I'm ugly. Oh, I'm going to fail. You are hanging on to the cloud. You remember one of the masters of mindfulness, Pema Chandran, said, you are unlimited sky, rest is just weather. Remember, you with practice, you can watch a film like a screen, separating yourself from the film. Sometimes you watch a film and get so sucked into it, you feel the characters in the film, but you are not the film. Film is just a pixel dancing on the screen of your life. When you are still, when you have practiced, cultivate this, you are not your thoughts. Negative thoughts are not to be get rid of. They need to be embraced, watched, noticed, and understood, and they will go and reduced on their own way. You are like a doorman. Stay like a doorman. Everybody is allowed. Oh, hello, good thought. Come in, you're welcome. Oh, hello, bad thought. Oh, you look different. Come on in. When you welcome these thoughts, the thoughts will get reduced and reduced. And it's not easy because we struggle, we fearful, we go past and present. But more practices you do, you stay present and the thoughts will go. Again, with practice, be friendly with this practice. Fearful thoughts, negative thoughts are part of your life. Remember, another important thing I need to touch here. Be compassionate to yourself. Self-compassion, self-kindness before you be kind to anybody else is very important. Mindful self-compassion means first tune in with the thoughts you're having. I am having a bad day. I am thinking negatively. Recognize this bad thought. We call it RAIN, RAIN. Recognize I'm struggling, I'm suffering, I'm negative today. Accept it is what it is right here, right now. I am struggling, I'm feeling really horrible, I'm feeling inadequate. Right here, it's okay. I accept it. RA. When you accept, later on, you investigate what was happening. Oh, one of my friends said something, and I thought that bad things about myself. Investigate. And N, non-negotiate, non-identify means I am not these thoughts. Be kind to yourself. Soothe yourself like your best friend. And remember that everybody suffers. You are not the only one. Think about, I am struggling. I accept it. I am not the only one. This is called self-compassion mantra. Many psychologists are there. I would like you to look into selfcompassion.org, a website by world famous psychologist called selfcompassion.org. There are a lot of mindful self-compassion practices there, like self-compassion break. Practice this. It's not easy to embrace negative thought, accept it. But this acceptance is not passive. It's active acceptance of negativity and positivity as a full human experience. Do not try to get rid of it, control it. It is what it is right here, right now.
Thank you, sir. Next question from Dr. Anindita Gupta, Assistant Professor of APC College. She wants to know, during this period, can suffering be optional?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Anindita. Yes. If you practice it, suffering is optional only because you are creating a different relationship to the pain. Think about not this suffering. This is a global suffering. When we have a personal catastrophe, our parents die, and or I break up in my marriage or my relationship. Yes, this is pain. But when we are prepared to understand pain, lean into the pain, we do not suffer. We really have created different relationship to the pain. You think about many examples from our culture. I can give thousands. Like, okay, our most important available is Rabindranath. Think about this. He goes, his son Shomindranath dies. He goes in the train from Shantiniketan to Kolkata. He sees the little beautiful Purna Chandra, the full moon, and says, you know what, I'm struggling and suffering in my own sorrows of my son's death. Everything is a whole in this world. Nothing has changed. And he's suffering. When he creates a different relationship in a bigger perspective, he slowly becomes a more whole rather than scattered. Rabindranath is bitten by a little scorpion in the middle of the night in Shantiniketan. And in the scorpion, he could not find anyone. He was suffering so much. And he started creating a different relationship with the pain, questioning, what is my body? Who am I? Who is this Rabindranath? Am I my body and consciousness different? More he thinks and creates a different psychological interpretation of the pain. His pain suddenly disappears. So philosophies like Stoicism are not just really kind of philosophies, is a practical approaches. It sounds really thoughts and stuff, but when you practice, I have done in my own life. I mean, a few years ago, my dad suddenly died in a day, and the same day my mom got paralyzed. 6,000 miles from here, I couldn't do much. I could be restless, and I had to stop, learn from Rabindranath, learn from very stuff, learn from philosophies, and be still. So I can here make judgments. Oh no, I don't need ventilator. My mom need this. Call set of friends to take them in hospital. Make right choices because I was still. I did not suffer. I had to go to the hospital to really have a huge full diary of the people waiting 3 months. I had to carry on the war. And yes, with practices, with understanding, with greater awareness, we can.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you for the question. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Your excellent lecture. Due to shortage of time, we have to finish our question and answer session now.
Sure.
So I would like to request Dr. Mayurakhi Gangopadhyay to end this one-day international webinar through vote of thanks. Over to Mayurakhi ma'am. Mayurakhi?
Yes, am I audible?
Yes. Carry on.
Okay, so we have reached at the end of the webinar. But before wrapping up, I, on behalf of Department of Human Development of the Motijheel College, must thank the persons behind the success of the webinar. First of all, it is our privilege and honor to have eminent scholar Dr. Amit Ranjan Beshwar as our speaker, who with his eloquent speech has thrown light upon and enlightened us about the most important components of our life, like mindfulness, gratitude, openness, positivity, kindness, and compassion when we go through or live in uncertain times. It was immense pleasure to listen to you, sir. Now, I would like to thank the person without whose support and motivation organizing this webinar would never have been possible. Yes, I'm talking about our honorable principal, sir, Dr. Pradipta Gupta Roy. Thank you, sir. I would also like to thank the coordinator of IQAC, Dr. Santosh Kumar Roy, and convener of seminar committee, Dr. Haragan Shah, for being our strength and support. Thank you, sir. My heartiest thanks to the head of the Department of Human Development, Dr. Falguni Bhattacharya, for organizing such an enriching webinar. And also, I thank the faculties of our department for their support and contribution to make this webinar a success. Now, those without whose participation no such endeavor would ever have been possible. I would love to thank all our participants for your patience listening and active participation in the question answer session. Last but not the least, Mr. Shampan Ghoshal, who is our technical assistant, truly deserves thanks for looking after all the arrangements. If we work as a team, teamwork leads to success. With this, I would like to call upon and end today's webinar. But before ending, I have an announcement to make regarding feedback form and e-certificate. We will mail you the feedback link, and after successful filling up of the feedback form, e-certificate will be issued and will be mailed to you within 10 days. So one last time, thank you all.
Thank you very much for all of your help and support, and I hope it has been helpful. So I'm deeply grateful to you all for listening and being here and organizing this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Participants, you may leave the meet now.